This week on Weigh In, Call the Police, Grand Theft Group 1. They came, they saw, they conquered. Kingswood dominates Ellerslie's Zabeel Classic. The mullets were flying when Trentham crossed the line in front for Debbie Sweeney and Joe Doyle. It was another win for Well Written as she maintains her unbeaten record in the Auckland Guineas. Plus, we preview a mouth-watering Telegraph with the exciting announcement of the world's best jockey returning home to New Zealand for just one ride. Hello and a very warm welcome to Weigh In Seasons. Greetings, great to be working with you on this Sunday. And Bruce Sherwin joins me in studio for this morning's Weigh In. And Bruce, very Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year as well. It is an unusual time of year, isn't it? We've got lots of excellent racing from Boxing Day to dissect.
Yeah, good morning to you, Emily, and compliments to the season to everyone out there as well. It's that crazy time of the year. It's a Sunday. It's 2 days after Boxing Day, but we've needed that extra day to review what was an extraordinary day and an extraordinary race, as you say. Grand Theft Group 1, Rory Hutchings, Kingswood style. Looking forward to dissecting it. I
must admit, I stole your line there at the start of the show. Bruce came up with that one. But speaking of the Grand Theft Group 1, let's go back and relive all of the action from our feature. The Group 1 Cambridge stud Zabeel Classic, and what a quality field is assembled. Interesting horse in this field is the number 3 in Kingswood. He's eye-catching, a beautiful big grey entire.
You have to respect him. He ran 4th in a Ballarat Cup. He is a tricky one to work out, but as we heard from Gavin Leith, is that they were keen to be able to make sure he's somewhere in that first 3 or 4. If that's the case, then that gives him his opportunity.
And Aidan Rodley, you're with his trainer in Gavin Bedggood.
He hasn't missed a beat. He's travelled over well. Everything's gone really smoothly, actually, so it's been encouraging. I just hope he can put himself in a prominent spot and be there and travel.
Bit of a shower too falling across the track here at Ellerslie as the runners start to load away for our Group 1 feature. I've thrown the Aussie into the Aussie-based European Kingswood. Certainly got respect around him. Gates open, let's bring it on. They're off in the Cambridge stud Zabeel Classic, and Kelly Alpha Rasha was first away from Dark Destroyer. Legato's up on the premises today, followed out by Jaffe and Aftermath. Wider out El Vencedor is rolling forward now to go towards the lead as most anticipated, although he's 4 wide around that first bend. Back third last is La Creek from Kingswood, and last of all the favourite Waitak. They're about to pick up the speed eventually now at the 800 metres. Dark Destroyer the leader, leads at 1 length from El Vencedor. Kingswood the first to move. The Aussie, he's whipped around and taken over here. It's Kingswood giving a great sight on the corner in the Cambridge stud Zabeel Classic, led by 4. Kelly Alpha Rash is looking to hunt him down from El Vencedor. Then came Legato, wider out La Creek. It's still Kingswood, led by 2 from Kelly Alpha Rasha, winding up, so too is Legato. La Creek, Kingswood's got the break. He's clear by 3 from running on Jaffe late, but Kingswood and Rory Hutchings. Oh, what a ride, the Aussie too good. Kingswood won the Zabeel Classic, and he's taken out our Group 1 Cambridge stud Zabeel Classic, aided by a gun ride by Rory Hutchings.
Rory has taken his initiative, and there could have been a chance that maybe a couple of the backmarkers could have followed him, but he's taken off, and that's been the winning of the race.
Watching the race unfold, I was, working at, how am I going to explain this, and we're going to look like mugs here, but fair play to Rory. What a ride. Like, it was a ballsy ride to take off like he did, and he needs to build his revs. He's not a sit and sprint horse, and it was well executed.
When I win, I made sure I win really quick. I have a lap full of horse when I done it. I knew it would have called them napping when I done it, and this is a really tough horse, and I worked on Wednesday morning. It filled me with a lot of confidence.
He was sensational, wasn't he? And as you heard there, a sensational ride aboard Kingswood to get the victory by Rory Hutchings. Speaking of Rory Hutchings, he joins us on the phone this morning on Weigh In. And Rory, just reliving the moment there, no doubt it's taken a little while to sink in, but you must be pretty happy with the result. Another Group 1 on the resume.
Yeah, for sure. I was just only thinking last night, that's my 3rd one for the year, so it's quite unreal to think of, actually. And I mean, sort of a week ago we didn't even have a ride in the race, but unfortunately for Johnny Allen, he got suspended and we're the lucky recipient.
Rory, just take me back to the moment when you decided to make the move mid-race. That's sort of the main talking point of the race itself. What was going through your mind in the early parts and then when you decided to make that mid-race move?
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned with the way we began. The plan was to be just in behind the speed, and as it unfolded, we ended up second last on the fence, and it was just a walking tempo. And when we got up the rise, they went slower and slower, and I thought, we're in an impossible position where we are. I sort of have to do something. I'm not going to out-sprint horses like Waitak and our Vencedor off this sort of speed. So I thought the only way to sort of beat them would be, get them straight off the bridle and get them chasing us. And my horse, he'd been up for a long time. He'd raced through the Melbourne Spring and that sort of thing. So I knew I had a rock hard fit horse, and just thankfully it paid off and he kept going for me.
Well done, Rory, an absolute stroke of genius. When you moved, you went really quickly. Have you ever tried something similar like that before?
I actually done it probably New Year's Day at the start of the year on Real Class when she won the Group 2. Probably wasn't as quick, but yeah, when I sort of put my hands on his neck, he took off underneath me, and yeah, he was able to sustain that gallop all the way to the line. He wasn't slowing down towards the post. He was still full gallop, and that's a credit to Gavin and his team. Having this horse spot on over here.
Absolutely. Now, it sounded like you had some confidence coming into the race, having ridden the horse previously in training coming into the race, and he gave you a pretty good feel coming in.
Yeah, he did. I worked him Wednesday morning up there at Pukekohe, and I think I said in the interview afterwards, I'd ridden a couple of the opposition and track work in the previous weeks before, and yeah, I really thought I was on the right horse after I hopped off him that morning.
It was a step up on what we've seen of him previously in terms of his Group 3 and listed form from Australia. Do you think he's a genuine Group 1 horse?
I think so. I mean, although he hadn't been racing the top liners over there in Melbourne, sort of the second grade he had been racing against, there were Group 1 winners and performers sort of scattered through those form lines. I was really pleased with his run in the Ballarat Cup on a really rain-affected surface, which doesn't suit him down to the ground. And I know it rained on the day, but the way the Ellerslie track plays these days, it didn't affect it at all. So he got conditions to suit, and he performed accordingly.
Rory, you're really establishing yourself as a big race rider, and you must be really happy with that sort of profile that you're building, because it comes to these key races, high pressure races, and you seem to be able to deliver.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's why, we put in the hard yards to try and win these big races, and I've been lucky enough this year to get on the right horses, and yeah, I try and go out there and ride every race the same, but yeah, it's just fallen my way sort of the past 12 months.
It hasn't been the easiest 12 months, so Rory, with the injuries and rehabilitation, each time you've built momentum, it seems like you've hit another brick wall. Yeah,
it was unfortunate to get that injury. I think it was the week before the Derby and the Kiwi meeting at the start of the year, and yeah, thankfully, I come through that with no issues now, and just, yeah, hopefully we make it to that day this year with some unfinished business there, I think.
You've split your time in the last few years between Australia and New Zealand. What's the plans moving forward? Yeah,
I'll look to stay here at least up until that meeting, like I said, up until Derby Day, and just assess things from there. I spent a few months in Queensland before I come out this year, and so I've got a few options there. I just have to weigh up sort of when the time comes, but really enjoying my time back home at the moment. So yeah, we just keep trying to build on the success.
Rory, still a number of feature meetings to come, as you mentioned. What are you most looking forward to for the rest of the season? I'm sure Kingswood sticking around has got to be a plus, but outside of that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a couple more races for Kingswood in store, but obviously always aim to try and find some decent rides. Karaka Million night. I'm still a fair way away from locking a few horses in there. So just at the moment, we're just looking for potential, decent chances going towards those races. And for the next few months, there's decent races, every second weekend type thing, and good prize money on offer.
Now, the reason you're not on camera is you're in the sauna doing it hard. We're protecting our viewers here on Weigh-In. What can you tell us? Wasting on a Sunday, is there something special?
Yeah, it's nothing special at all. It's the third day in a row we're doing it, and heading down to Taupo today just for the one ride. And, I quite like the horse Pam Gerard trains. I rode him his first start, and hopefully we can get the chocolates today.
Rory, thank you so much for joining us this morning on Weigh-In. Really appreciate your time and a masterful ride aboard Kingswood on Friday. So a big well done to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, team.
Awesome ride aboard. I know we talk about it there and the mid-race move, but it was sensational stuff, and it really was the winning of the race in the closing stages. We're going to go back and sort of have a more in-depth look at that Zabeel Classic, and as we get you the replay of the race in its entirety, you can see Kingswood from here, and just talk us through how things set up early and then how they changed, Bruce.
Absolutely. So the plan with Kingswood was to be handy, but it all turned pear-shaped when he didn't jump that well. He comes out of the gate second last. He settles in the last, well, only with Waitak behind him. The tempo is slow. The race record for the race is 2 minutes 0.6. They've run 2:06.4. They went slow and they got even slower through the mid part. Kingswood is way back. Great drone footage here. El Vencedor outside of Dark Destroyer at the head of affairs. Tempo, El Vencedor didn't even put tempo into the race. Let's look at the overhead shot now as they've gone through the 1,000 metres. I'd said they'd gone slow, but they just kept getting slower. It was a 13.8 sectional 1,200 to the 1,000 and similar coming to the 800. The timing's perfect. They've run the first 1,200 in 1:19, nearly 21 seconds slower than a slowly run race last year. He went quickly, and he just made it absolutely impossible. He's come home his last 400 in 23.2. They had to go low 22s to get even close to him. Just a genius ride.
It was a genius ride, and you can actually see, maybe not so much from the drone footage, but the side-on vision, that when he does ask him to go, he is really enjoying himself out in front. He's just motoring, and I love the way, Bruce, he maintains that to the line. It doesn't look like he comes to the end of it. He really attacks the line late. Of the beaten horses, though, obviously you've got Legato, Le Creek, even a Waitak, El Vencedor. What do we make of those runs in behind our winner? Can they turn it around when it comes to a race like the Herbie Dyke?
Well, I think in terms of a review, the big question on everyone's lips is going to be, why did no one else follow him? He just went so quickly, though, and you could see Masa Hasazumi half went to follow, but he's probably thought, well, 800 metres out, he's gone plenty early enough. But if you look at the setup of the race, and we'll see the sectionals coming up here, how 21 lengths slower than a slowly run race through the first 1,200 metres last year, the Snazzy Tavi race. The overall time was slow last year at 2:04. They're 14 lengths slower at 2:06. And he's come home the last 600, 34.35 off the front. And remember, at the 600 metres, he was already 2.5 lengths in front of them and low flying. So it was impossible for anything chasing to beat him at that time. Extraordinary setup of a race. I'm not really sure where we go with it in terms of the form. At first, I thought it was possibly embarrassing what a Group 3 horse had done to our Group 1 weight for age horses. But in the tail of the tape there's a story to tell.
There certainly is a story to tell. We've had sort of a conversation around tempo in races and a number of occasions here in New Zealand, especially on this show, on Weigh-In, when we're reviewing races. What is your opinion on that?
Well, it's interesting. I know back from the Raffles days when we were planning staying races at Ellerslie, so often they go quite quickly early and then they pull up to a walk mid-race. The plan would usually be, if they do pull up to the walk, and they went even slower than a walker in this race, you needed to get moving at the 1,000, or at least get into a position to get a good tag into the race at the 1,000. No one's moved at the 1,000, and only one person moved at the 800. So I hope there's a bit of introspection going on behind them.
Of the horses we've seen there that are heading towards the next Group 1 Weight for Age feature, who do you want to have in your numbers? Jaffe gave a really good account of herself.
Yep, Jaffe's run really well. She was stepping up to Weight for Age company there on Friday, and a little bit held up and was dictated to in terms of the setup of the race when everyone else was happy with their positions. When Kingswood went, he was boxed in on the rail and just took a little while to clear a pocket. So clearly second best on the day. Legato's run another honest race. La Creek lost a shoe, but is okay, pulled up okay. She'll have a week off before heading to an Otaki Maori weight for age. Here's the Herbie Dyke. I do think there's an overreaction in the price, $6 to $3.50. Waitak becomes very appealing at $6. At first glance, I was a little disappointed in Waitak. He just couldn't keep up when they quickened around the turn. He was off the bridle chasing last, but he's run home his last 400 sub 23, so he hasn't gone too bad. In his last 100 metres was probably his best, but it's a really hard race to line up. It's a very poor speed figure for a Group 1, set up by the slow sectionals and the sprint home. Just don't know where we put this in terms of a form guide.
Yeah, it's certainly going to make it tricky when it comes to our next feature. As you saw there, the Herbie Dyke market available, tab.co.nz. Let's press on and hear from our beaten jockeys from the Group 1. We start with Warren Kennedy.
Yeah, I'm really stoked with her run. Key things to take away from it, she settled absolutely beautifully for a slow run race. She hardly touched the bridle, which was fantastic, and she flashed home really good. So, going forward, we can confidently put in 2,000 metre Group 1s and she'll have a good chance.
Perfect trip. They probably slowed up too much, probably try to get too easy sectionals, and Rory stayed the ball by the horn and taken off, but I thought I was going to pick them up halfway through, and she probably isn't their peak fitness-wise, but when the Herbie Dyke balloons up, she'll be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, look, in the end, it was probably a bit disappointing. I was about to let him rip, and then fair play to Rory. He took off and took the race by the horns, and yeah, we just couldn't go with him. Has been a touch of rain throughout the day, and he just doesn't like it when he gets his toes in. So yeah, not his day.
Yeah, got back from the draw, that was probably the plan. Just unfortunately there's no real gallop. And even when the eventual winner has gone and put the rapid tempo in, sort of got me a bit flat. He has taken a while to wind up, but he has been strong through the line, so he's had a lot of good luck. We just didn't get a lot of, in the past we just didn't get a lot of good luck today, so no, he'll be right.
Yeah, some interesting comments from our beaten jockeys in the Group 1, El Vencedor and Mick D. Obviously some interesting feedback there from Mick with regards to EV.
Yeah, he would have liked to have followed the winner when it quickened, but couldn't, and there's just a little question mark where he's at. He's had an okay spring, probably better than last spring, but he came into his own in the autumn, but he's not quite at the level we would expect from El Vencedor, last season's horse of the year.
Yeah, certainly it's more to unfold with him as the weeks go on. If you're wondering how Kingswood himself has pulled up, well, we're lucky enough to see this vision online. Here he is out in the paddock in New Zealand, having a wonderful old time. He's pretty chuffed, no doubt, off Group 1 success. Of course, he's still an entire, Bruce, and I know when Gavin Bedger brought him over here, the intention was to set him up for a stallion career. So, the son of Roaring Lion, ill-fated stallion who passed away at Cambridge Stud. So, there's a look at his pedigree, and it's steeped in European history.
It's really lovely pedigree, this. This is as good as we've seen on weigh-in this season. All stakes winning, See the Stars mares out of a champion female stable, and Albanova, who's also left some really good performers, just littered with Group 1s. There's an ARC winner, an Alpinista. So, wow, what a page that is. So all he needs now probably is to reassert his Group 1 quality. There will be some that unfairly treat this as a fluke, but Rory had to have the horse under him to run those sort of closing sections. In spite of how slowly the race was run, he still had to have the horse underneath him to pull off that 800-metre sprint. So if he can reconfirm that quality of that win, then he's got a future at stake. Yeah, he certainly has. Exciting stuff heading forward to our Wait for Age features. We're going to get you to a break, though, on weigh-in. And on the back of that, we sink our teeth into the 3-year-olds, of which there's plenty of quality.
So Hallmark started 8 Carat Classic at Group 2 level over the mile is our next here. Here's a look at the favourite in this next one. It's Lollapalooza. She comes off a placing, of course, in the 1,000 Guineas and has been to the trials since.
She's going to have to go back and hope that they can run along. I can't find the speed in the race, but if she can move into it at the right time, she's going to be awfully hard to beat.
Yeah, changing market here and a complicated race for the 3-year-olds.
Hallmark stud 8 Carat Classic, almost set. Telem will be the last one to come in. We're set to go. Gates are back, they're off in the Hallmark stud 8 Carat Classic. Telem was the first away. Going forward, Stella Marbella, Fleeting Stars right there with Savvy Donna. Then Lollapalooza looking for cover. Inside the 1,200 metres mark they go and taking over Telem, led by a length here. Stella Marbella moves to second, third Fleeting Star, and then Savvy Donna, fourth one out. Next is Circus Dancer, fifth on the inside of the favourite Lollapalooza, who's been tracked all the way by Dance the Night and Pulsatilla. And the leader is Telem. From on the outside of it now is Stella Marbella. Right in behind them, Fleeting Star, Savvy Donna, Lollapalooza. She's about 3 lengths off the leaders. 300 metres to go. Telem giving a sight. Led by 2 from Savvy Donna, Fleeting Star. Out wide, Pulsatilla. Lollapalooza needs to lift at the 200. Telem still in front. Telem defying them. Lollapalooza at her late, but Telem led all the way. Telem beat Lollapalooza. Third, Fleeting Star. Fourth over Fairy Dreamer run.
Beautifully rated in front, they just got away with it.
Yeah, look, it was a really nice sort of even tempo as well, and look, the horse was strong to the line too, and every horse in the race has a fair chance.
I did say to Jo, I probably don't lead if we can help it, but she does like to be on pace, and I couldn't believe how easy she was actually travelling. I thought, geez, we're in with a huge chance here. Really wrapped. A great team of owners, big team of owners, 47 of them, 49 around there, and super proud, and really thankful to the owners. John Tarrant, who manages the horse, really thankful to him and the mullet at Pacmoa.
Look, had to go to plan B. I would have liked to just, sat next to the leader, but I jumped and I'm 3 deep and nobody was kind of going or coming back underneath me, so had to go around him, but settled well in front and showed a real good kick. First time a mile, maybe running on fumes the last little bit, but she was too good.
The Group 2 upset in the 8 Carat Classic, and it was by Telem, who got up to score in very good fashion for Joe Doyle and Debbie Sweeney. You might have heard plenty of chat about mullets throughout Friday's coverage, and it was, of course, because of the Flying Mullet Syndicate, and the Syndicate manager, John Tarrant, joins us this morning on weigh-in. And John, it must be a bit of a dream to not only have a horse racing on Boxing Day, but then to go on and cause a huge upset like you did.
Oh, unbelievable. Yes, everybody's, they're still coming down from it. Fantastic win.
Take me back to the start, because how did you end up with Telem and involved in the Flying Mullet Syndicate? Talk us through how that happened.
Well, we made the syndicate up instead of going to the big TR cows. We decided to run it ourselves. So I got authorised as a syndicator. Then I put a message out to the studs. Waikato stud Mike Rennie come back to me. He says he got a filly out of Early Morning Rise. We had a look at the breeding. It was fantastic. And so we said, yeah. So they leased it to us and away we went.
And morning, John. Really well done yesterday. How many involved in the syndicate?
We've got 47. They're all pretty much all from the Flying Mullet. So everybody knows each other. It's a good family.
And how many were on course yesterday?
We had close to 30, about 28, I think.
And how did they celebrate post-race?
Yeah, they really celebrated all right. You would have thought there was about 60 there.
Well, dissecting the race, previously she looked a little disappointing on face value at Wingatui. Was there an excuse there?
Yeah, she just didn't go her way there. We should have gone to the front. We didn't. And I think she just had a little gallop. We just put a line through that one.
And what are the plans moving forward? She's run the mile out well here, dictated the terms under Joe Doyle. What are the plans that you've got in the works?
Well, we've nominated for the Oaks, so that's the first bit at the moment. Which she's come through this really well. She ate up everything, so now we'll have a look at where we go from here next week.
John, talk to me about the Flying Mullet Sportswear, because I know this is a huge part of what the syndicate is based around. How did the passion for racing come about? Why racing? And then a little bit about the sports bar itself.
Well, it was always a sports bar. Well, It started when the Papamoa Tavern lease ran out, and the boys started up the Flying Mullet from scratch. They named it after they saw a winger in the Otago game, and Scotty Stevenson called him the Flying Mullet. They said, well, that's a good name, so here we go. And it's got plenty of sports. We do all sports. We sponsor everything around the Papamoa area.
And what do you love about racing? What makes racing so appealing?
Oh, well, I've been into racing all my life. I've been breeding for the last 20 years. We've had a couple of good winners. Eric Clever Rudd's won 6 for us. And, you know, we've done well.
And how important is it been for the sports bar? Everybody must be coming together, and it must be really nice for everybody to get to know each other and celebrate something like this.
Oh, definitely. I mean, if you look on the Facebook site, you'll see what they were celebrating when it won the other day. We even had a video from Australia where we had guys over there, owners in a bar, going crazy. It's, yeah, the whole bar's into it.
Now, obviously, the Talum is mullet, the reverse mullet. Have any of the syndicate sporting the Talum?
Yeah, there's quite a few mullet people in the mullet.
It's
not me, of course.
John, it must have been incredibly special on Friday. What was the emotions like when she crossed the line in front?
Oh, it was crazy. Couldn't believe it. And I know Mark Grant, and the publican at the mullet, was crying what the boys said. So I think there's a lot of people doing that as well as going mad.
Talk to me about Debbie Sweeney, because obviously she's an integral part of what you do with Telem. Tell us about her and the relationship.
Yeah, well, I've known Debbie since she was a baby. I lived in Te Awamutu, and we've had a number of horses with her. And she's brilliant. Does a good job. GK did a good job, and then Debbie took over.
John, thank you so much for your time this morning. It's awesome to catch up with you, and it really was an exciting part of the day. And good luck to the Flying Mullet Syndicate heading forward. We'll be behind you, and I'm no doubt there's some other big wins to come.
Cheers. Thanks for that.
Yeah, an awesome story. One of the feel-good stories from Friday's coverage was, of course, seeing everybody celebrating together, and the name, the horse's name, it all just sort of fitted perfectly, didn't it?
Yeah, it's only a couple of weeks since we've seen the social racing team, and they finished second in that race with Lollapalooza, but really good for racing. A tremendous story. Let's
go back and have a look at a replay in a little bit more detail. And as we heard there, pre-start, they maybe didn't want to lead, but there wasn't a lot of speed in the race. So Joe Doyle elected to sort of take matters into his own hands. Of the others, talk me through their runs.
Yeah, very good initiative shown by Joe Doyle. Interesting the way he rated the horse. He didn't go too fast, but he didn't go crazy slow like we saw in the Zabeel Classic. So just below even tempo, and a really good kick off the corner. Of the others, well, clearly the eye catcher is Fairy Dream from the back of the field, raced by the Litz, who raced Orchestral, and they look to have a really nice Prasia filly on their hands. The red and white colours working home into fourth. She's the eye catcher. Lollapalooza, it's an interesting run. She's coming in after a little freshen up after the 1,000 guineas. A little bit on and off the bridle. I like that they could use her tactically earlier and get her into a better position. And she's closed off nicely, and for sure and certain will be improving. Fleeting Star gets a very valuable Group 2 placing, and I bet they're enjoying the Flying Mullet colours there aboard of the winner.
Yeah, it's a great name, isn't it? And the Flying Mullet Syndicate, I'm pretty sure there was a few days celebrating that win, as there should be, because those Group 2 victories don't come round very often. The other 3-year-old contest on the card was, of course, the Auckland Guineas, and this was pretty dramatic in the closing stages, and it was won by Well Written. Well Written, obviously, taking out that Auckland Guineas in fine style.
The Jimmy Schick Shaw's Auckland Guineas at Group 2 level over the 1,400 metres, and what a field has come together. Well Written, she's been in sensational, well, what we've seen so far in her 3 starts to date, and I can't wait to see her here this afternoon.
I think this has been one horse on everyone's lips, really, to see her again off the back of her incredible win in the 1,000 guineas.
Well Written, the short price favourite, sensational to date. Let's see what unfolds here this afternoon. George Simon, we'll come to you. Really looking forward to this one.
Jimmy Schick Shaw's Auckland Guineas fielder away, and Fat Cat began best of all. Well written on the journey as well, followed out by Affirmative Action. He jumped with them as well. The two favourites up near the lead. So going forward out wide as He Who Dares, as Well Written's now been eased back to fourth. Towards the 1,000 metres mark they go, and He Who Dares took over for Boston, led by two from Fat Cat on the inside of Affirmative Action. He hasn't moved yet on Well Written. She's fourth, one off the rail. Homeward bound, 300 metres to go. He Who Dares is the leader, led by two from Affirmative Action. Now he's pulled Well Written out into the centre. He's asked her to go, and she's coming out after them. He Who Dares on the inside. Well Written hasn't got it yet. Affirmative Action. Now Well Written wants to lay in. She's grabbed the lead from He Who Dares. Well Written delivers. Well Written, the winning just continues. Well, it was a very confident, no panic ride by Matt Cartwright.
She does it the tricky way, doesn't she? It wasn't a comfortable watch. If you're on at $1.20, she's a star. She keeps on winning.
She's one little feisty girl, but once the gates open, she's a push-button horse.
I haven't felt like that before a race for a long time. Probably a bit lost for words. You know, I've been feeling sick all week about it. We haven't got her tuned up. I knew today was she'd be vulnerable, but we certainly weren't wanting to be coming here and getting her beaten. So just proud of her. I thought Matt did a great job. I just said just nurse her until the last bit and don't go for it too early, and he did exactly that. And it was a great race, and the two top 3-year-olds, sort of fought it out. So I knew she'd really stretch the neck late, and you could see her really fine. It looked a little bit hairy for a bit.
I was confident at the time, but probably come to the last 100, I'm like, oh, I expected her just to kick a little bit better, but today's not her grand final, so we hit her purposely like that. She's still a bit underdone, still got the job done, so look, good horse. It's just a privilege to ride her.
She's so good, and good horses find a way to win when they shouldn't. I've never seen Stephen Marsh so off the bridle. He was really sort of speechless post the race, and you just feel that there's a lot more to come from Well Written in terms of getting her cherry ripen at a peak. Yeah, that pre-race pressure with an undefeated superstar filly. It'll be weighing heavy, and there's more to come in the lead up to the late summer and autumn prizes that she has in the offering. 3-year-old Crop's growing on me. This is a really good speed figure given very slow tempo. That was the pattern of the day, frustratingly again. A lot of really slowly run races. It's been a very good ride off the front by Opie Bossum. He did everything he could to win on He Who Dares, and Well Written's had to run 21.8 her last 400, so I don't think it was the confidence, a little bit of overconfidence there from Matt Cartwright as he came out aboard of Well Written. Given how fast they were quickening off the front, he had to run 21.8 to that last 400 to get the leader. But as I say, really good speed figures off slow tempo, and the boys aren't as far behind the girls as we thought. And you make a really good point there, because I know in the build-up to the Guineas we sort of thought the girls were superior, but based off what we've seen here, they've actually really quite level.
Matched up well.
Yeah, they have. And do you get the impression that there's the feeling that Well Written isn't as unbeatable as maybe she was before this race? That He Who Dares, Affirmative Action, given the right circumstances and luck in running, there is a chance that you can overcome her? Yep, there's a few factors at play here. Obviously, she's not going to be concert pitch for this. So there's a fair bit of improvement to come, and that's the read I'm getting out of the speed figures as well. She could be 4 or 5 lengths off her peak here, but also factoring the race was really slowly run and didn't set up for an extremely good speed figure. But yeah, the two boys would be expecting them to improve coming in fresh up off the 2,000 Guineas. She didn't have a trial coming in. She's got, and the other factor to remember is going into a race like the NZB Kiwi, she'll have to carry 3 kilos more, that Group 1 penalty. So it's looking a lot more level than probably we suspected coming into that race. Let's talk about Affirmative Action and He Who Dares. He Who Dares had the blinkers on for the first time on Friday in that Auckland Guineas, and I think he's sort of levelled up when it comes to an autumn campaign, and Affirmative Action just was restricted for room late. Given the same map, He Who Dares is going to be a force to be reckoned with through the remainder of the season. And Affirmative Action, funnily enough, had never run a big figure I'd seen on my figures coming into the race. This is his best figure, and that's a really good sign going forward. A little bit cramped late. Opie Boss in 7 days. It wasn't major interference,
but he didn't stop riding and he didn't switch the whip, so that would have contributed to the 7-day suspension.
Here's a look at the drone vision. Matt Cartwright's been particularly patient, as Stephen Marsh has instructed him to be, but you can see here she just... The thing I love about her, which you can't see in this drone vision, but the way she pins the ears back and has a go. She's tough, she's feisty, she wants to be a racehorse.
Yeah, she's a fighter, isn't she? And remember, it's only her 4th start, so she's still perhaps learning the caper as well, and really good through the line, which you would expect. The way the race set, I thought that scold was a forgive out the back in a slowly run race, and wide, just an impossible task from there. But the 3 big guns in the betting were to the 4.
She did roll around a little bit in the closing stage as well, Ritten. I'm sure when it comes to a Karaka Million or Nzibi Kiwi, you're not going to want her to do that, are you?
It just could have been the fact that she might have just peaked on the run first up, just might have been a contributing factor. And as I say, still only a 4th start. She'll take plenty of benefit from that, and looking forward to what she can produce.
Let's have a look at the Karaka Millions market. That's fast approaching, actually, just sort of 3.5 weeks' time. And as you can see, Well Written is $1.40 favourite, open at 13. She's very short. Are you comfortable with that price? Are you perhaps specking something a little bit more value?
Oh, it's in 2 ways to look at it, isn't it? It's not a price you'd be taking in an early market that far out, but it'll be level weights again, the 3-year-old Karaka Millions. So she gets in well at the weights, and it's really hard to see her beaten. But yeah, it's looking a good enough field, and it'd be interesting to see horses like Romanoff coming into play, the 2000 Guineas winner, and some of those late season 3-year-olds that we haven't seen yet. Wins Pilates, scratched out of Tarapa today, look really exceptional at the trials.
Yes, exactly right. Still lots to unfold for our 3-year-olds. Looking pretty mouth-watering, though, as we head towards those big features. We're going to take a break, and then we get into the undercard. There were some pretty exciting horses there as well. Well, we promised you some insight into the undercard races, and we kick things off with the Dunstan Stayers Championship final, and this one was taken out by Maldini. Talking of patient rides, I think Sam McNabb gets an 11 out of 10 for this one. He was in a lovely position in running, didn't have to go around a horse, Bruce, and was able to get home really strongly.
This drone footage is going to be revealing. Look at the first 3 on the fence here. Don't really even have to make much comment about what's going on out wide, because the best 3 rides have been the first 3 home, and it was a bit of a mess in behind. Terrific ride, Sam McNabb, 3 kilo claimers, really making a name for himself, right through along the inside, sneak peek, and also a really good ride from back in the field for getting up to run second late. He's classic under Alan Nicholas. And outside of that, it was a bit of a mess out wide. The tempo, funnily enough, a rating 78, 2,400 metres. None of the sectionals were as slow as the 1,200 to 1,000 metres split and the weight for age Group 1. So they did run at even enough tempo, allowed every horse a chance. Maldini, a deserved win for consistency, courtesy of a really good ride.
The moment I loved the most post this was obviously the McNabbs together, and a number of generations of McNabbs. It was awesome for Sam to have his family on track, and I know obviously brother Michael's particularly proud of Sam and what he's doing, but he's really establishing himself in terms of an apprentice you want to have on board.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks really good value for the 3 kgs, and it's not very often you see Chris McNabb lost for words.
No.
That was the case. His dad post-race, very proud and deservedly so.
Absolutely. Let's move along to the next of our features that we take a little look at, and it came in the last race of the day, saved the best till last. This was Rise Companions, who really, Bruce, shouldn't have won. No, not at the race, only even tempo at best.
back and wide. This horse is a star. Rise Companions. In the meantime, Moxie was a little held up getting runs near the inside, the race favourite. But just look at the stretch about this horse as he quickens up out wide. Not another horse other than the 2-year-old in a very fast run 2-year-old race did similar on the day. But he looks a group horse and maybe right at the very top of the tree on what we saw there.
Got an interesting backstory, hasn't he? Because
extraordinary backstory.
Yeah, he was based in Australia with the Freedmans. Then went to Matt Vella, was then obviously sold up to Hong Kong or prepared for Hong Kong, and then was ridden in a trial by James McDonald.
Yep, James was down to ride the horse on debut. He was withdrawn with a tendon injury, which is a little red flag moving forward. But from what we've seen of him since he's been back to New Zealand and under the care of the Alexanders, touch wood, it's been smooth sailing. He's a lovely big horse. Love the stretch about his stride. He looks every inch a top grader. Just a message through from Simon pre-show. They're likely giving him a little break and heading towards, would you believe it, a Carat Classic, a maidens as at the start of the season. So what a good target.
Yeah.
And I guess they'll be looking for an apprentice because you get a bit of weight in a race like that, but very good placement, a $350,000 maiden as at in February.
And I love the comments post-race from Katrina Alexander and Masahisa Sumi just saying, we just don't know what this horse could be. He could be anything, and what we're seeing on the track certainly looks that way. First race on the card was for the 2-year-olds. It was pretty competitive. A lot of horses having their first race day start, but it was the Frankel filly who really certainly asserted herself in 2-year-old status, because Te Encuentro was incredibly impressive with what she was able to do, Bruce. She just, again, another horse that had no right to win, but just late, got motoring between horses, so professional late.
Yeah, traditionally it's been a really good race this, the Boxing Day 2-year-old, for a bit of money. A lot of first starters and reputations going on the line in terms of trials performance. It's set up to be a really good race. Te Encuentro looked really good at the trials, but with fast speed, just whether she could get to them over 1,100 metres in a race like this was uncertain. But gee, she came home strongly and looked really professional, and I guess some lofty ambitions moving forward.
Yeah, we spoke to Andrew Scott this morning, and he suggested that they would head towards that feature meeting at Matamata before some of those big 2-year-old assignments in the late autumn.
What a matchup that is.
Yeah.
Lara Antipova against Te Encuentro.
Yeah, certainly makes for some front row seat watching, doesn't it, as we get into the summer months. All of that ahead of us, $600,000 yearling, so she's always been a pretty eye-catching type, but doing the job at a first race day start. Vegas Queen was another nice feel-good story for the day, and a mare who's doing things well. She was pretty electric with this win.
Set up well, didn't it? The small field, on pace outside, a soft lead, another slowly run race. But gee, she travelled well with the white noseband there, and a few similarities in terms of types to her close relation Winx. She's not at the Winx level, but she's putting together a good record. She's won her last 3 now, and she always finds herself in a nice position map-wise, and a good solid win over Frost Fair. Just where she moves, where she sits moving forward is dictated by how the race sets up. But Kenny Ray's doing a really good job, and lovely to see the brown colours there successful at Ellerslie.
I think he was lucky to get out of the bear hug that ensued after the winning of this race. If you're watching the coverage on Boxing Day, you would have seen him engulfed by a number of people post-race, but he got out of that. And I know they've got some good ambitions for Karaka Million night, so it'd be great to see her contest one of those races. We take a little bit of a change of pace now, because we get you to Wingatui for their feature race of the afternoon. It was the NZB Air Freight Stakes. This one was won by Bobby McGee, who caused a bit of a surprise. Obviously, the favourites were battling it out. Bobby McGee had other ideas, coming home on top.
Yeah, it was a deep enough race, this, with Cool as Zabeel coming out of a 1,000 guineas as to Miss Starlight. Miss Starlight just had to be used up after not her best beginning, so she had to do a bit of work to find the front. For a moment there, she still looked like she would win in front there in the Parson colours under Tina Komanyagi, but really good finishing kick from Bobby McGee at start number 5. Had been a maiden winner 2 starts back and didn't have any favours at its previous start, but this was a step up in class, and she's quickened really nicely to take the prize here. Half-sister, Generation Joy, won earlier in the day, and an important first win for the sire, Ancient Spirit, the White Robe Lodge stallion.
And you spoke to Terry Kennedy this morning. What are the plans heading forward?
Probably bypass the traditional 3-year-old races, race called Guineas. He's thinking perhaps a Southland Guineas or a Dunedin Guineas back at Wingatui, and the fillies races through the autumn, including the NZB Stakes race at Riccarton. But nice win. Looks like she'll just love any increase in distance as well. A good stretch about her late.
Yep, certainly is. We're going to get you to a break here on Weigh In. On the back of that, it's preview time. Still lots more feature racing to come as we work through the next couple of weeks.
Atomic Force hard up against the Aluminiums. The leader shows out 8 challenge. Here's Josephina. She's really releasing. She is flying on the outside. Ranged up and gets the Telegraph. Josephina gets the Group 1 glory. James McDonald and Team Valor. And didn't he love it? James McDonald. This will be such a special win. Prepared by Stephen Ramsey, Julia Ritchie, of which he has a wonderful association and friendship. So too Peter and Philip Vella, who have done so much for this young man's career. Took him abroad, and to get the Group 1 for them, will be a real feather in his cap. He'll be so pleased to do it. Boy, oh boy, what a win, team.
And this young man in James McDonald. James, congratulations. This is the one you wanted, mate.
Oh, it is. To ride a winner and a Group 1 winner in these colours is, I just can't describe it. I'm actually, for Peter Singh at home, I wish he was here. It would have been an awesome day, and but we'll get another one with her, and hopefully he's there that day.
Pretty special, winding back the clock. Josephina scoring in the Telegraph and the Sapita Vella colours, and the memories. It's amazing to think what James McDonald has gone on to achieve since 3
Absolutely.
World's Best Jockeys titles. And we heard news earlier in the week, breaking news, that he was coming back on Telegraph Day to ride Tomodachi. 1 ride at Wellington. Great to have the World's Best on New Zealand shores.
How brilliant to have him back, and we all follow his career with great pride, don't we? He's such an accessible and down-to-earth lad. It's just terrific what he's done. His 3rd World's Best title. It's extraordinary.
It is extraordinary. We can have a look at the Telegraph market, because no doubt the announcement that he's returning has changed the dynamic in the market. Tomodachi 6s into 3s, and currently as our favourite ahead of Crescetti, Grail Seeker and Platinum Attack. Thoughts on this, Bruce?
Yeah, J-Mac tax, isn't it? $6 to $3. But crikey, she's trialling well. She's going to be spot on for the Telegraph. As they always say, some of the great trainers, it takes a good 1,400 metres to win a 1,200 metres straight race, and she fits that bill. Crescetti, looking forward to seeing him back in action. So the Group 1 winners to the 4, Grail Seeker defending her crown. Platinum Attack, so very progressive, and a big winner down at Riccarton, and even First 5 is $31 to $10 coming off that profile of winning a 1,400 metre black type race.
Yeah, there's lots of depth in the race, but a nice setup for Tomodachi, and great to have James McDonald on track at Trentham there for that first Group 1 of 2026. Let's go and have a look at some markets for New Year's Day, because that's sort of our next feature. It'll be it'll be Thursday. The days, you just don't know what day it is, do you, at this time of year? Here's a look at the Eclipse Stakes. Harvey Warbanger looks like a really nice chance. Incandescent Kinnair, there's some nice horses in here.
What a good setup this race is. Harvey Warbanger looked unlucky in defeat last time in a black type race. Incandescent, so very impressive on debut. I thought she might have been favourite actually, so they're level pegging at the moment, 2.7 apiece, and some undefeated records going on the line, Kennard and Spellbound in behind. But as always, a really good 2-year-old contest, the Eclipse Stakes on New Year's Day.
Sure is. Queen Elizabeth II Cup over the 2,400 metres for the Stayers. Tees, obviously the short-priced favourite, but you've got Sharp and Smart, who's bounced back to form, Solidified Gigi in the mix there as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised Tees is so short here in the red at $1.90. Sharp and Smart, of course, last time winning the Waikato Cup, has to carry top weight at 59.5. Gigi hasn't had the rub of the green, so very deserved second favourite there. And I probably wouldn't have him as far behind Teese in that market.
Alrighty, and then you've got the Richhill Mile, which is one of a number of features on New Year's Day. And just heard news on Boxing Day that Angela Jones heading across from Australia to partner Smart Love, the favourite in this race. She's obviously the first female to win a Queensland Jockey's title, and she brings a strong profile with her.
Really good rider, Angela Jones. I think she could hold her own in any of the states in Australia. So looking forward to what she can achieve in her career coming up. We're lucky to have her here on New Year's Day. She rides Smart Love, who will be on the minimum, 53 kilos, and the action is very much around those minimum weighted horses in the handicap race. Smart Love, She's a Dealer, Tuxedo, all on 53. That's got the makeup of a really good race. Mary Shan, last start winner out there, 11-1, and Checkmate, who looks so very promising as a 3-year-old looking to get his 4-year-old year back on track.
Yeah, something to look forward to for later in the week. Obviously, we've got Taupo this afternoon and a couple of other meetings throughout the week, but that's sort of the highlight this
Yeah, Taupo Cup. It's the final leg of the Prezi Card Country Cup Series. Agera and Enright in line there for that prize. And Timaru Cup at Far Lap Raceway today. That's a really good lineup, a former listed race, 80 grand, Mystic Park, Matt Scott and Sir Albert. So a couple of really good race meetings to look forward to today.
Sure are. All roads lead to New Year's Day on the 1st of January. For now, though, we need to get our moments of the week as we wrap up proceedings here on Weigh In, very kindly brought to you by Saddlery Warehouse. Big thanks to them for their support of Weigh In and Moment of the Week. Bruce, for you.
Yeah, Benji King producing this mare first up for the Duchess on a special race day, and you could see what it meant to him post-race. So lovely to see these young trainers getting a big win on the stage.
Yeah, it was. And obviously the horse is pretty talented coming through an Oaks, and great to see her picking up right where she left off. Yeah,
extraordinary coming back from the Oaks, so it was coming off a long layoff, so a really good training performance. You see all involved, they loved it.
They certainly did. Mine was a little more open. I just went with the Group 1 celebrations across the card on Boxing Day. There was Kenny Ray swamped, mobbed by a number of white-shirted men. As lucky to come out of that alive, I hope we get to see that. And then there was, here we go, here it is. Just he's lucky to make it out alive. But we saw a number of those throughout the day. There was the Flying Mullet, there was the McNabb celebrating post-race, and then there was obviously Kingswood as well, delivering a dazzling win. So celebrations aplenty on Boxing Day with some really good feel-good stories as well. Yeah, that was another of the feel-good stories, and twin brother there of Sam certainly getting in behind his brother in the closing stages. What about our Weight Watchers? What have you got, Bruce?
I've gone with the $1.01 chance, unfortunately. Nothing out of the trials this week, no trials, but Rise Companions in the red and white out wide. The Alexanders have got another special horse on their hands, and looking forward to what he can produce as he no doubt starts chasing some black-type prizes.
I went with a pretty obvious one too, I'm afraid. I went with Fairy Gem from the 8 Carat Classic. I think this horse has got quality written all over it, and love the way that she got home to the line. A 3-year-old daughter of Prasia out of Fairy Gem, who obviously had brought that finish in the O'Leary Stakes prior, but it was pretty eye-catching getting home over the mile for the first time. I think she'll only get better getting up over a little bit more ground and with a bit more experience. Well, that's pretty much a wrap for us here on Weigh In. We've really enjoyed having your company as a part of the show. Before we do go, we need to just make you aware of the winners of the Racing Annuals. We're pleased to confirm that our 2 winners of the Racing Annuals that Aidan Rodley very kindly offered as part of a competition here on Weigh In. They went to William Benjamin and Scott Hollinshead. Well done to both of you. Just like to make pass a comment on someone who tried to win an annual, Noah Rodley, who wrote in and said, please could I have one so I could give one to my dad, who Dad is the author, of course, of the Racing Annual. So apologies.
Dad doesn't need one, Noah.
No, apologies, Noah, that we couldn't give you an annual. Well, that's it from us. A big thank you for your company here this morning on Weigh In. We'll be back to do it all again in the coming week as that Premier Racing rolls on.
Well Written wants to lay in. She's grabbed the lead from He Who Dares. Well Written delivers. Well Written, the winning just continues. 4 in a row, 4 on the bounce for Well Written.
I haven't felt like that before a race for a long time. Probably a bit lost for words.
She's such an exciting filly, and look, it's just a privilege to ride her.
Tellum's still in front. Tellum's defying them. Lollapalooza at her late, but Tellum led all the way. Beautifully rated in front by Joe Doyle.
Super proud and yeah, really thankful to the owners.
I was waiting to hear Lollapalooza from somewhere, but no, look, fair play to my one. She really stuck it out well.
Gates open, let's bring it on. They're off in the Cambridge Stud Zabeel Classic. He's clear by 3 from running on Jaffe late, but Kingswood and Rory Hutchins. Oh, what a ride, the Aussie too good. Kingswood won the Zabeel Classic. He's won too easily to offer any excuses for the opposition.
Fair play to Rory, what a ride. He went from 0 to 100 in one stride.